Good evening. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the Bigger Picture webinar for the evening of Wednesday, the 4th of December. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay. Decent move up today. We had a sell signal yesterday, which made possible near miss target. And I've called that because obviously it was not going to go any lower. Now we had one fail on a bigger signal fail on NQ, but that actually we've since then had another one fix. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. On RTY, could this look any more like a bull flag? You've got to go with no. Now, bull flags do break down some of the time, but realistically, this is it's a perfect bull flag channel, and I'm expecting it to break up into a retest this high. So that is, I mean, this isn't synced particularly well with the other indices at the moment, but nonetheless, that is a bullish lean. We've got a 6-minute buy signal here, and it's reached the possible near miss target. Looking at the Dow. Retest to this high. This has been pausing a bit here. We had a head and shoulders. Well, I'll show you that on the RTH chart. But in the meantime, potential level top here. But at the moment, everything's got a bullish lean. The patterns I've got are tending to be pointing up. DAX has long since made the target and kept going. We do have a 60-minute sell signal fix, which is mainly notable because we've gone up a lot since, and it's managed to somehow not fail. We've also got a double bottom that's broken up on ESTX, and that's got a target up in about the 49.90 area, and that hasn't made target yet, and I can't see any obvious reason to think that it won't make target. We've got a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing here. We have got a couple of indications that we might see some resistance here. It's not an awful lot, but we've got some. Let's have a quick look at the 5-minute charts. All right, SPX, I drew in. I thought the first resistance trend line I had in was likely to break, and I drew in another one, and that was hit at the high today. That could be some resistance. So I'm going to be watching that with interest tomorrow. We had a 5-minute sell signal fixed today that made target and then went straight back up and made new highs. On NDX, nothing really to report. On Dow, we had a little head and shoulders here, which broke down. Was that a head and shoulders? I'm not entirely certain there was a head and shoulders, actually. Anyway, it's kind of. Arguably, that might have been a double top. But either way, it failed and rejected back up into the high. That gives us a potential level top here. We do have a little 5-minute RSI 5 sell signal fix. That's not really a big signal at all. On IWM, this is a nice flag setup. Decent looking flag setup on RTY as well. And this is an ascending triangle, slight bullish underthrow. That's a bull flag. So I'd be expecting this to resolve into a retest of this high. So at the moment, obviously, we're doing the standard December bullish tape thing, and at the moment, there's no particular reason to think that's going to stop. All right, let's have a look at the big picture charts. And hang on. Right, looking at SPX. If we break up through the current level, I've got a little trend line here that we're hitting here, but the main trend line I've got here is up in about the 61.30 area. That's not the only trend line. I would say that we've got on the bigger picture, if you look at the weekly chart, I've got this trend line here, which is up in about 6200, 6225 area maybe. And we could make that. That was my ideal. I mean, to be honest, I was beginning to think that actually we weren't going to make it just because we were running out of bulb window. But if the market's going to behave, that's the obvious target here. What I'm thinking might happen after that is what we saw when it hit the resistance here, which is that we might actually spend much of next year forming a bull flag. We will see how that goes, but that would be a very nice level to reach and reverse that. All right, looking at NDX, nothing is clear in terms of the resistance trend line here. We've made a nice new high. We did have a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing on SPX. We lost it. And we've got one now brewing on NDX, but it's not really, there's not really much to go with it. We do have some short-term resistance not far above. I've been watching on NDX. I mentioned this possibly on Sunday, but certainly I've mentioned it in a pre-market video, I think. And we're close to reaching that. That could be some resistance, but it's not a big trend line. Looking at Dire, Dire, I drew in a couple of trend lines, and we haven't reached them yet, but it's trying. We do have a potential little level top here, and I'm wondering if we might see a modest retracement. We've also got a possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing. All right, let's have a look at IWM. And IWM looks like flag. Covered that already. Likely it is a flag. So we will see how that develops. In terms of the bigger picture, we're not going to get any negative divergence unless we see that retest the high, but that's flag target, so that's probably coming. Looking at DAX, DAX has gone higher. And how? I've got a resistance trend line here, which isn't a bad one, and we've almost reached it. I'm wondering about finding some resistance there. I've got that just over 20,300. Nikkei has finally picked itself up, got back over the daily middle band, and I'm looking for a retest of this high here at 40.3K. If we can break that with some force, then ideally I'd love to see a retest of 42.4K. By the end of December. We will see how that goes. All right, let's have a look at CL. CL, we're still kicking around sideways. This is basically a long consolidation. I'm thinking the obvious target for as and when this finishes is that we see a test of the triangle target at 63.57. In terms of divergence, we had a sell signal this morning that made target fairly quickly without going particularly far. We're really trading a range here and waiting for a breakout. NG, we broke down through a very nice flag support, and I'm wondering, well, we're in the seasonal lows tend to congregate around April. We've got gaps down into April, 2 or 3 of them. They're not as big as the gaps up in the winter, but they're not that small either. I'm wondering if we're reversing and forming a right shoulder. Ideally, that right shoulder low would be in about the 1.95 area, and we've got 3 or 4 months to make it. So I'm thinking we might do that. We will see. I'm planning to do a post about that before the end of the week with any luck. All right, GC. Let's do that let's have a look at that on the bigger picture chart as well. All right, CL. No current divergence. You can see a kind of triangle consolidation arrangement on the RSI here. This is consolidating, and it should. The triangle target is a test of 63.57. It should make that target. I mean, we got within a couple of bucks of it already. That shouldn't be close enough. We should make the full target, and as and when we do, that may be the second low of a double bottom. Looking at natural gas, this is the inverted head and potential inverted head and shoulders. Now, if we were, I would note that it doesn't need, the right shoulder wouldn't need to be as long as the left shoulder, which actually took about 11 months to form. But nonetheless, I'd be looking for more retracement here. We're testing the daily middle band at the moment. If we can go lower, then the ideal right shoulder low would be at 1.95. That would be a good thing to get to. That would be a very, very large pattern. If we then subsequently broke up from that, a sustained breakup of the 3.64 would have a target in about the 5.8 area. And I know people will be saying, oh, well, Trump's promising that we're going to be producing more natural gas in the US and more oil as well. But the reality is that's only a relatively small part of a global market. So can gas go up even with the pumps turned on full in the US? Yeah, I think it probably can. So I'll certainly be watching that with interest and watching how it looks as and when we get near a low on here. But as I said, I wouldn't really expect to see that low for another couple of months in all probability. We could break up directly, but I'm not seeing much reason to think that we would at the moment. So we shall see. All right, GC. This is just kicking around, not doing a great deal underneath the monthly pivot and weekly pivot at the moment. But SI is looking interesting because we're starting to break up for a double bottom here. Although I would note that this isn't a double bottom on the silver index chart. But it's a pretty nice looking double bottom here. We've got a target up in about the 33.9 to 34 area, and I'm thinking it might make it. HG. This, I had a look. This is a perfect bear flag channel. So generally speaking, this would break down into a retest of this low, and so provisionally I'm looking for that, and that's at 4.06. We will see how that goes. All right, let's have a look at the metals on the bigger picture charts, and looking at GC. GC, no current divergence, trying to get back over the daily middle band at the moment, and succeeding to an extent. We closed today at 26.76, and the middle band is at 26.63. Not a break with much force, but nonetheless looks promising, and certainly is being supported by SI, which has broken over the daily middle band with some force and is breaking up from this double bottom. Now, what I would say is that on the silver chart, on the index chart, this isn't quite a double bottom. So the roll has obviously affected it, but nonetheless, I think this is looking decently bullish. We've got some resistance here at the 50 MA at 31.93, and if we can get over that, then I'm liking the upside. There is a possibility that our head and shoulders is falling here, and that we're working on the right shoulder at the moment. All right, looking at palladium. Palladium under the daily middle band, which is still holding as resistance, needs to get back over that to look more bullish. On platinum, still under the daily middle band as well. Nice looking double bottom here. I am wondering if the dollar might reverse back down and the metals might generally break up. But I have to say the evidence for that, apart from silver, it's not looking that bullish at the moment. HG is also testing the daily middle band. So we'll see how that goes, but at the moment it looks like a flag, so I'm leaning towards seeing a low retest. Looking at GDX, just kicking around, doing nothing in particular. We are seeing some just uncertain consolidation on metals, while I think we're probably waiting on direction from the dollar. All right, let's have a look at ZB. ZB, nice looking double bottom here, and it's broken up with the target in the 121.26 area, 24 to 26 area. So I'm liking the upside on it. This has been a very slow mover to get up here, but I think it's looking pretty promising. Looking at DX, I was hoping to see a stronger move up to retest this high. I'm slightly edgy about the trend line that doesn't look as though it was hit there here, but has clearly been hit on the bigger picture charts and on the index chart. So let's have a quick look at that. This is DX, where we haven't quite hit the trend line, and we're holding the daily middle band as support. This is US dollar, where we did hit the trend line. And we've got a really nice rising megaphone here, and of course we could head up to megaphone resistance, which should now be up at about a 109.5 area, and not a bad match with this trend line, possible resistance trend line that I drew in here a couple of months ago. We will see. Actually, I think I drew that, but yeah, it must have been back in. Yeah, I mean, okay, it's we will see how it goes, but this is the obvious bigger picture resistance trend line, and I've got that currently at about 109.4. We could go and get that, and this is reasonably supportive. Just quick look at the other currencies. We've got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed on Euro, but it's not really doing a great deal. On GBP, we had an RSI 5 buy signal fixed, and that made target. USD JPY, weak sell signal fixed. There's nothing really compelling in either direction here. Nice looking potential short-term double bottom here on Australian dollar, but it's not really broken the downtrend. And of course, until the dollar turns, it probably won't. So we will see. All right, looking at TNX on the hourly chart, we've got, we had a possible, this RSI 5 buy signal broke up and made target. No divergence on the hourly chart. Sorry, I should have updated that. But we do have this nice looking little level bottom, which is the inverted version of the one on ZB. I'm liking a move down to this support. It could fail and reject back up to the highs, but at the moment I'm not seeing much to suggest that. And in support, we did have an RSI 5 sell signal and an RSI 14 sell signal on the daily chart. We've only got the RSI 14 sell signal left, but these aren't bad at making targets. actually on TNX. We've got a failed one here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that worked. And this hasn't reached the possible near miss target yet. I'm leaning towards it reaching that. At the moment, we are finding some support at the 50 DMA and slightly above it, the 200 DMA. So we've been stalled in this area a while, but if we can break down below it, we can make that target. Not really expecting to see the bottom on this flag again, because overall this is a bull flag, which is then likely to break up. But I'm thinking we can do some more consolidation, and that ZB pattern can make target for before we reverse back down again. All right, let's have a look at the other commodities. All right, KC, nice little reversal here. Wondering about a retest of this low. This looks like a little flag. Wondering about a retest of this low before a resumption of the uptrend, or at least a retest of this high. SB still on this very long consolidation, which has gone 10 weeks or 11 weeks now and is still going, but is likely to resolve into a retest of this high in due course. Hopefully that won't have dropped off the chart by the time it does it, but that is a danger at the moment. Okay, looking at CC, we saw a bit of a pullback, and we're heading back up, likely to retest the high. On cotton, pulling back a bit. This looks like a flag, which is breaking up towards a retest of this high. We'll see how that goes, but if we were to see a hard reversal, I'd be wondering about a retest of this low, which could be then the second low of a double bottom. Looking at ZW, nice looking double bottom here. That's looking pretty good. 60-minute buy signal fixed, liking the upside. I was thinking we'd probably retest this low again, and we did. So I'm liking the upside now, and that's looking mature. On corn, we've got an IHS here which broke up and has failed. I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of that. That could well be the second low of a double bottom if seen. On soy, this is actually another perfect bear flag channel. So I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of the low, and then we see how it goes from there. Lumber still looks like a rather ugly bull flag forming. Live cattle still owed, I think, a retest of this high here, and we'll see. But I'm quite liking that, and we're holding above the monthly pivot. Lean hogs looks like a bull flag forming, likely head back up into at least a retest of the high, and very possibly a resumption of the uptrend. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at the daily charts. So on KC, bit of a pullback here, come back, tested the daily middle band more or less. Just looks like a pullback so far. So I'm really expecting to see a retest this high and very possibly go higher. Sugar, long consolidation, as we were seeing. Cocoa, now this is interesting because we've actually got a couple of RSI 14 and RSI 5 daily sell signals fixed. Is that going to make an impact here? Possibly. I'm wondering if we might be setting up for a deeper retracement, certainly to make target on the RSI 5 sell signal, which this one failed here, but generally speaking, the buy and sell signals on the RSI 5 do okay. Actually, 2 out of the last 4 sell signals failed. We'll see how this one goes, but I think we've had two previous instances where we've had RSI 14 and RSI 5 sell signals fixed at the same time. One of those failed, one of them made target. So mixed picture, but we do have the sell signals. We'll see how it goes. All right, wheat, possible RSI 14 buy signal brewing. Very nice bottoming setup here. I really like it. So this is looking pretty good. I was looking towards a retest of this low here at 542, and we got it. So I'm really liking the upside. Corn, this could be a bear flag, and short term it looks as though we're at least going to retest 42540. On soy, we've got a weak RSI 14 buy signal fixed, and I was looking to see whether we were going to see a retest of this low here at 97340. We've got as low as 97520 so far, but I'm wondering if it's going to come back down, especially with this forming a bear flag at the moment, and come down and do a retest on that. On cotton, cotton, you can see why I'm thinking we might go a little lower, wondering about a full retest of 67.90, and we came pretty close to that at 68.40, but I'm wondering if it's going to be the full retest. We're below the declining resistance here, watching to see what happens. Not going to get any negative divergence on the daily chart here, but I think we might see that retest. We will see how it goes. And that's everything. So that's a wrap. I will catch you guys again on Sunday, and take care.